Hi everyone, thanks so much for joining me today. Today I'm going to be painting my houseplants. I'm a houseplant collector. I have quite a few different types of houseplants. This first one that I'm painting here is my Jade. I think it's one of my oldest houseplants, and I don't treat it very nicely. It definitely doesn't get enough light. But it still is holding on. So today I'm going to be using my Stillman and Birn sketchbook. Now this isn't one that is made for watercolor. I think it's just a mixed media sketchbook, but it seems to be taking watercolor no problem. I'm also using my Schminke watercolor paints and a Princeton snap brush. I decided that my desk was looking a little dark in my other videos, so I just threw down this tablecloth. I definitely should have ironed it first because it's very wrinkly. I think it does look better despite its wrinkly appearance. So this plant here is my aloe plant, and I got this from a friend. So her aloe plant had little babies, and she gave me one, and it's doing so well. It's grown so much since I got it. And I planted it inside of a little mug that I got at a antique mall. So it's a really, really cute little planter. It's one of my favorites, I think. I love watching YouTube videos from people who create content about houseplants. I find them really relaxing, and it's always fun to learn about a new plant that exists out there. One of my favorites is Plantarina. I feel like she's just really fun to watch. She's got a great attitude, and she knows a lot about plants. Now this one here that I'm working on is a Pothos. When I brought it back, it was really big and bushy, and it's a variegated variety of Pothos. And then I put it in a dark corner in my apartment like a fool, and it was not doing well. It was just dropping leaves. Everything was turning brown. So I did move it into a window, and it's doing so much better now, but a lot of the variegation has disappeared, unfortunately. There's still a little bit, but not as much as there was when I brought it home. Now, when it comes to keeping houseplants alive, for me, it's a lot of trial and error. I tend to put them in a place that I think will look nice in my apartment, and then realize over time that it doesn't like that place. And then inevitably I'll have to move it closer to a window. Unfortunately, my apartment doesn't get great natural light, despite the fact that we have this really big, beautiful window. We just don't seem to be able to get a lot of light in here. So I find that plants don't do very well unless they are right in the window. Now this plant here that I'm painting now is a Hoya. I got this Hoya from a couple friends of mine from high school as a housewarming gift when I moved to the apartment that I'm in now. I love this plant, and similarly to the Pothos, I put it in a bad spot in my apartment because I thought it would look nice there. And then it started to die. I lost some of the more beautiful pink colored leaves that it has. It's a variegated Hoya, Tricolor variegation, I think. And I lost some of the really beautiful pink leaves, and it made me really sad. I ended up making that macrame hanger there for it and hung it up in my window, and it's doing so much better now. It grew that super long vine down on the right hand side, and it's clearly a lot happier. here is a rubber plant that I got. When I first moved into the apartment that I'm in now, we have more window space and just more space in general. So I kind of went a little crazy, a little houseplant crazy, because before we had like 2 small windows and I couldn't keep anything alive. So I went a bit crazy. This is one of the first ones I bought when we moved, and it's doing really well. It's a miniature rubber, or like a dwarf rubber plant, and it's also variegated. It has really beautiful, like camouflage looking variegation, and I just recently repotted it into a little bowl that I found at a Value Village. That's a really good tip, by the way, for anyone who's looking for really beautiful planters for plants. Value Village thrift stores, I find, have really beautiful planters and really unique looking planters, and they're often like less than $5. And this plant here is another one of my oldest house plants. I had it in my apartment before, and it's just barely clinging to life. I don't know, it's dropping all of its leaves, and I can't figure out what I'm doing wrong. It's a Golum Jade, also known as a Shrek's ear succulent, and yeah, it just drops those little ears constantly, and it's like half the size it was when I got it. I don't know, maybe it's not getting enough light, maybe I think I'm watering it enough. I have no idea what I'm doing wrong, you guys. But that one is unhappy, but I painted it to look happy. That's the great thing about art, is you can lie. Now this plant, this is another new plant that I got shortly after we moved in. And this is probably now one of my favorite house plants. It's a ZZ plant. And I don't know what I did to deserve so much love from this plant, but as soon as I brought it home, 6 new leaves sprouted out from the soil, and it grew easily a foot. It grew a whole friggin' foot from since I brought it home. It's incredible, and it is in the spot where the other Pothos was dying. So it's not getting any light, and it's so happy. I don't have a consistent watering schedule for this plant. I just kind of like water it when I feel like it. It apparently does really well in dry conditions. It does really well in wet conditions. It's just like the perfect house plant for anyone who is not good at taking care of a plant. Yeah, I got it at IKEA. It was like $12. And it's definitely one of my favorites that I have in my collection right now. This plant that I'm painting here is a, what is it called? A money plant? I think it's also called a friendship plant because it has so many little babies. So many little babies that you give them away to your friends, hence friendship plant. And it's cute. I wouldn't say it's my favorite. I find it hard. I think because it does so well and it grows so quickly, I've had a hard time kind of keeping on top of it. I think it really needs to be replanted. It's still in the pot that I brought it home from the store in, and it's okay. I find that the leaves drop quite a bit, which is annoying because I don't like cleaning up after these things so much. But and I think if I had more space for it, maybe if I hung it, it would look a little bit more majestic. But in order to get like a really even look to these plants, you have to turn them all the time. So so the leaves kind of like turn towards towards the light evenly. It's just kind of a hassle. I really prefer a low maintenance houseplant that I can just water every week or two. And so yeah, it's alive. It's alive. I'll leave it there. This plant is alive. Right now I'm just gonna start adding some variegation details. I did such a hack job on this lettering. It's no good. I should have just used a marker. I don't have enough control to get the shapes looking delicate enough, but oh well. I think I might turn these paintings into some stickers, so if you follow me on Instagram, I'll update there when I have them in my Etsy shop. I decided to go in here with a Faber-Castell sepia tone marker to add some definition to the shapes. I found that they just kind of looked a bit blobby for my taste. So I've gone through in a few places here to add some definition. I find sometimes watercolor, the edges look quite soft. Maybe it's because I started doing art with a lot of black and white and like comic book art. I think it helps define the shapes. I think it adds a little bit of extra depth. I have one houseplant that actually didn't make it into this video, and it is an avocado plant that I've had. I grew this avocado plant from a seed, from an avocado pit, when I was 16 years old, and oh gosh, 15 years later, it is a tree, a tiny little tree, but it is a tree, and for some reason I didn't feel like painting it, but it's really cute. thank you guys so much for watching this video. I had so much fun painting all my houseplants. And feel free to leave a comment and let me know what you thought of this video. And don't forget to like and subscribe.